OC Biz Live. So good afternoon, guys. Today is June 25th.
25th.
This month is gone already, guys. So thanks for joining us here from Santa Ana, California, OC Biz Live with great guests every week, talking to people in the community, talking to movers and shakers, talking to politicians, talking to people that are doing things here in Orange County. So great guest today, William Deed. William Deed. I met William over at a networking event that I was at with my good friend Elizabeth Gonzalez. And I started talking to me about what he's doing. And I said, you know what? You need to come on my podcast. You need to come on and talk about all the great things you're doing in the community. And the biggest thing for me that we've been doing this for 8 years is getting information out there to people, because sometimes people don't know about it. So enough about me. How you doing?
I'm good.
You're good? All right, good.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to talk to him and tell us about a little bit about himself, William Deed, where he grew up, how did he get into Santa Ana, all that stuff. So let's go ahead and give it over to William.
All right. How much time do I have?
It's my show. I can go as long as you want. I had a guy the other day, an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
And then the one right after that, she went like 35 minutes. So
Okay.
it's up to you. It's up to you.
All right.
I got time.
All right. I love it.
Yeah.
So I was raised in LA a long time ago. Raised in LA. Went to a high school called Locke High School. Raised in that area. Cowboys Junior High and all those things. And then when I was about 20, I moved to the Cerritos area, started going to college over there. Actually met my wife, and we've been together about 33 years. And started going to college and working for different companies, you know, as I going to school, human resource manager for Home Depot, Target. I worked for Target for a while, worked in retail. I was a high school teacher.
Oh, wow.
This is how I got into education in a sense. I was a high school teacher for 3 years, and then left teaching in 2012 and went into work for a soda company called 7-Up. Company. Worked for 7-Up for about 10 years as a sales manager.
Okay.
And then after that, I was driving on my route one day. It's 3 a.m, and I was like, man, I need to find me another job. And so I started looking online, and I saw this job opening for Oak Valley College.
Oak Valley College,
yeah. And they were looking for a director to run this new campus that was starting in Santa Ana.
Okay.
They have a campus in Rialto as well.
Okay. So this new campus in Santa Ana, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
How long has this place been here?
We are going on our second year.
Okay, second year in Santa Ana.
Yeah, and we have a campus in Rialto, California.
Okay.
That's since 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, so I applied. I said if the door opens, I'll walk through.
I'll walk through it, right?
And I went through 4 interviews and got the job.
Nice.
And so what Oak Valley College is this really great college. It's a bachelor's degree program, fully accredited. It's a nonprofit Christian business college.
Okay.
Where you get a bachelor's degree in 2 years and 8 months with no debt.
2 years, 8 months, no debt, bachelor's degree.
Yes.
Sold.
Yeah, absolutely. And my admission counselors and I, we go to schools, we promote it that way. We go to nonprofits, we go to churches and all that, because we are a Christian nonprofit based Christian business college. And again, like I said, it's fully accredited, and it's really a wonderful program. Yeah. I mean, people actually in 32 months, students go from 32 months straight, and they get a full bachelor's degree.
Wow.
With no debt.
Wow.
And you know that the student loan crisis right now is about $1.7 trillion. Great. And so trying to convince these 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds that it's a good thing.
Now, are you making like obviously stops at high schools and stuff like that? Yeah, doing that. Maybe a community college, maybe come by and talk to them or something like that.
Yeah, we go anywhere we're invited.
Okay.
You know, we've gone to this past year. We've gone to probably about 40 high schools.
Okay.
We go to churches. We go to nonprofits. Yeah. You know,
no, but you don't have to be Christian in order to be in the program. Yeah.
No.
A lot of that I'm sure that question may pop up like, do I have to be Christian in order to do this?
Not at all. You don't have to sign a declaration of faith or any of those things.
Okay.
And you're welcome. And there's no age limit. You know, college, obviously, you can be 17 or you could be, 60, 70, whatever. You know?
I told somebody what you do and the bachelor's degree and the whole thing, and they're like, you should go, Luis. I'm going, I ain't got no degrees. Why not, man? I should go get a business degree. Yeah. So you're looking for, how many students do you have there now?
Well, in our Rialto campus, we have about 75.
75.
In Santa Ana, because we're still new, we started our first cohort in August of last year.
Okay.
So we started with 15 students, and this year we're starting again. Every August we start a new what's called a cohort.
Cohort, yeah.
So we start. Our goal is always about 25 students
Okay.
per year. 30, I think, is about our max.
Okay.
25 students a year, and they stay together the entire time. They take every class together. They start together. They graduate together.
Okay.
So we're looking again for about 25 students. Right now, we're starting this August. We have about 10 spots open.
10 spots are open.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Now, are you looking for kids that certain grade levels or GPA? How do they qualify to get into your school? And is this something where there is grants and stuff to help them out, or is
great question.
there tuition? How do I'm looking out for my people of Santana,
Yeah,
because a
absolutely.
lot of them are
Yeah.
Hispanic kids and they don't know what they want to do. That was me. I went to Santa Ana College. I wanted to be a cop.
Yeah.
Now I'm the other side.
Yeah.
So when you get there, you don't know what you want to do.
Absolutely.
And so it's like one of those things. Like, so tell us how, like, let's say we have a kid, a youngster, not a kid, a youngster, a young guy from Santa Ana High School that wants to get a business degree.
Yeah. So basically the way it works is when they're graduating, they graduate from high school. They could be, again, 17-year-olds, because we had some 17-year-olds that started our program this past year.
Mm-hmm.
So they graduate from high school. They still have to apply for the grants. They apply for the Cal grant, the Pell grant, and then we offer a funding as well. So through our donors, we offer, everybody pretty much gets some form of scholarship.
Okay.
No matter what. So they come in, they apply for the grants. If they have a high GPA of I'd say between a 2.7 and a 3 point whatever,
Mm-hmm.
their tuition is paid for pretty much 100%.
Oh, wow.
Now we have students sometimes when we finish processing everything.
Yeah.
We had a student, for example, that ended up having to pay $80 per semester.
Oh.
Which is $20 per month. You can basically that's 2 cups of coffee nowadays.
Yeah.
You get to get a bachelor's degree.
Dang.
And there's another cool thing about our program too is that we do CEO visits every month. So
Okay.
we take a group of students to meet with the CEO of a company every single month. We take a group. And the reason why we do that is because we want them to not only get a degree, but we want them to have a network of people that they
Right.
can talk to
Sure.
upon graduation for internships, for jobs, and
Right.
all those things.
Internships are very, very important.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that. That's how you get into these
Yeah.
high-end and big businesses and stuff
Absolutely.
like that. And obviously interns non-paid most of the
Yeah.
time, but you're learning.
Yeah.
But once you get that foot in the door, and it's
Yeah.
all that. What is a bachelor of business? What kind of use can somebody put that to?
Oh man, it opens the door.
I'm gonna turn the shade down because I got a little glare. I'm gonna turn
Okay.
this shade.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It opens the door to so many things. That's the question I get a lot is, what can I do with a bachelor's degree in business?
Right.
And I always tell people, even my CEO has said this, what can't you do with a bachelor's degree in
Right.
business? Every single thing you do in life, right? I went to an event a couple weeks ago and I was talking to this very successful attorney. And he told me they hire for their law firms business majors to run their offices because they don't know how to run their offices a lot of times.
Yeah.
They have law degrees, but they don't have business degrees.
Right.
So they hire business graduates to run their offices because a lot of the lawyers are, they know the law and all these other things, but running a business is a whole different
It's a
thing.
different thing.
And even for nurses that are starting their own business, doctors, dentists, all these other people. I know a dentist that makes close to $500,000 a year, but doesn't know how to run her office.
Yeah.
And so there's so many things you can do with a business degree.
And a lot of those offices, like the dentals, they have like somebody who's in charge of the front office,
Yeah.
back office, and all that. And then the dentist way in the back, that's
Yeah.
like you said, but the dentist is doing what he's got to do.
Yeah.
And then the other people have to run it for him. And, there's involvement of obviously some dentists, collecting from the state and so forth
Yeah.
for all that stuff. So it's billing and
Absolutely.
all that. So it's different. So
Absolutely.
business, a degree would basically help you in any business needs to organize it, to run it, to understand most likely a little bit of the CPA background on it,
yeah.
like what comes in, what comes out, the ratios and all
Absolutely.
that, all that fun stuff that we learn when we don't have a degree. We
Right.
just learn it on the run, man.
You learn it by doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And because in a business major, you still have to take your finance, your accounting, your marketing, your human resources, statistics. You still have to take all those classes.
Right.
So you learn all that stuff during school. And the way we hire our professors, we hire professors with real world experience.
Right.
So someone who's running a business that will come in and teach our class. They have to have a master's degree minimum.
Okay.
But they'll come in and teach our classes, and they're teaching from a real world perspective. I think there's a difference in teaching book knowledge and someone that's put the work in
Experience
to do it.
Experience is very big.
Yeah.
We've had people that I do my own marketing, and they come to me and they're like, well, I just graduated from marketing school. I'm like, okay, do this for me. And then it's like, because I've been doing it for so long, I don't have a degree, but I have experience.
Absolutely.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
And then that's probably the same thing for attorneys and anybody that's doing stuff. The experience itself doesn't translate into book stuff. You can be book smart, but you got to have a little street too. You got to definitely have.
If you got them both, it's gold.
Yeah,
it's absolutely gold because I started college later in life. Right. I was in my 30s when I got.
Oh, did you really?
When I got my degree, and I was that guy who I was a manager in the grocery business and running the store and all these other things, and I didn't have a degree, but I learned from the ground up. I pushed carts when I was 16 in the parking lot, and I bagged groceries. I worked overnight, stocking shelves, and I just went through the ranks. And then I was like,
started learning a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should go get a degree so I don't have to break my back for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's the other thing, if the education obviously gets you into better positions, so you're able to do less work. Work smart is what I say. You work smarter instead of harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So you got spots for 45 kids or so, you said? 40?
Our goal for Santa Ana is to go between, again, 25, 30. I think our max would be like 35 per year.
Okay.
And that's per year.
And where are you getting these kids from? Are they coming from local schools, or are they coming in from different places? Or
we've gone to Long Beach, we've gone to Downey to recruit. We I've been in Santa Ana for 2 years.
Okay.
And I can tell you, man, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on a podcast and all these other things. I've really grown to love this city.
Yeah.
I live in Lakewood. I own a home in Lakewood.
Lakewood's nice.
I've been there 25 years in Lakewood, my wife and I. But I love Santa Ana, man. Yeah. I'm involved in the churches out here, the different pastors and Templo Calvario.
And,
And, the pastors there. And I do a lot of events with the different faith leaders in the community and all that. But, man, I've just grown to love this city, man. I really love Santa Ana.
It's a really nice city. And, sometimes people try to bash it and stuff, but we are the county seat. If you look at when somebody tries to bash Santa Ana, I said, well, you've seen that freeway, right? It doesn't say Irvine Freeway. It doesn't say Tustin Freeway. It says Santa Ana. so they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. So then we got the federal buildings here. We got the federal courts. We got all the court systems, here. And, the counties here. Everybody from the counties here. So Santa Ana is a very unique city because, we've got a little bit of everything. And don't you like all the taco places? And don't you like all the stands and the food stands that you don't get in Irvine? You don't get that in Tustin, none of those places. It's a different place. It's like, where can you be sitting around and you hear the bell and then there's a guy with ice cream outside, right? not in most cities. So we're a unique city. So if tell me, like, what's your mixture of, you have about 15 kids now.
Yeah. So
the 15 kids, Hispanics, Asians, what do you
our mixture right now here in Santa Ana, probably 96% of our kids are Spanish.
Hispanics.
And they're from the high schools here in Santa Ana.
Okay.
Which is great. I mean, we've got our enrollment this year has been, again, about 95% from Santa Ana.
Okay.
And we've been to a lot of schools.
Yeah.
And we've got predominantly kids from Santa Ana.
Nice.
And I love that. I really do, man. I mean, I want the kids I want all kids, but
right.
We try to cater to those kids, those first generation college students that can't afford these big USCs and UCLAs in the world, or don't want to graduate with that debt.
Yeah.
And I was that kid, and I was raised in a neighborhood in LA where statistics says, I'm going to come up to be a criminal and all these other things, and it's crazy how none of that stuff happened.
Yeah. Well, that's some of the statistics here in Santa Ana. There are some stuff that some places that are not as good as some other places, but we've got to make sure, like I said, of everything. That's good because a lot of our people here, like you said, don't have that plan of going to school. There's a lot of also push for trades, right?
Yeah.
Electrical and plumbing and construction and all that,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
are also very good earners. You know, you can make some
Absolutely.
really good money on that, but
Absolutely.
not every kid. I also am an ambassador for AISS, and I'm going to invite you to talk to our kids at AISS.
Yeah.
These guys are STEM students, Hispanic, Asian kids, 4.0 and above.
Ooh.
These kids are like science, technology,
Yeah.
engineering, and math.
Yeah.
You know, and when I go talk to them, I'm the dumbest guy in the room.
You're so funny.
but I go talk to them, you
Yeah,
know, and it's
yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah, I probably would be too.
I'm like, these guys are probably going, what the heck is this guy talking about? But you know, it's one of those things that these kids, sometimes we go into the houses, into the homes, and let the parents know, hey, they're getting a full ride to Stanford, they're getting a full ride to Berkeley,
Yeah.
because they're so smart. We just had one of our kids, I call them our kids because I'm always there
Yeah.
helping Debbie out. I'm going to introduce you to Debbie, the director, and some kid, Hispanic kid. I've known him for like 2-3 years, and he's telling me, "Hey, Luis," I go, "Yeah, what school are you going to?" Princeton. And I'm like,
wow.
"What?
I love
Princeton?"
it. I love it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got biologists, you got somebody who wants to be a doctor. They're like, everybody wants to be an
Yeah.
engineer. And it's like, these kids are coming out of Santa Ana, where like you said, the statistics are not
Yeah.
having kids from there.
Yeah.
I think our biggest success is having a kid who went to AISS program, through the program, went to MIT.
Wow.
Now he worked for NASA.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah, those
Yeah.
smart kids. But these opportunities are here, and I think that's part of what I like doing this, is getting these opportunities to kids. If any parents are watching, or any kids are watching, and you're interested, on this camera right here, it's scrolling at the bottom right there, his name and phone number. If you guys are interested in coming, getting an interview, talking to him about getting
Yeah.
into that school, give him your number on this one right here, and just let him know
Yeah.
what your phone number is on Instagram. Instagram don't have that scroll.
Okay. So my phone number is 562-965-5155. And you can also go to oakvalley.edu and you can get some information there. You can even find the application there as well.
Mhm.
But if you want to come for a campus tour, give me a call. We'll set up a campus tour, coffee on me, pastries on me. I'll introduce you to my admission counselor, to some other students that are going there, and professors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, absolutely.
I'm going to bring up something technical about most of our kids in Orange County or Santa Ana with what's going on. You know,
Mhm.
obviously what's going on. Try not to get political, but I always do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you required to have a valid Social Security to be in your program?
We do have, I guess it's called undocumented, right?
Right.
So we do have some kids in our program that are undocumented.
Oh, okay. Okay. So anybody that's undocumented, any student
Yeah.
at any school.
And if we can't work, I mean, just reach out and
Yeah.
let's see what we can do. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Well, the biggest
You
thing
know?
is somebody wanting to do it.
Yeah.
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 That's the biggest thing. First thing is, I want to do it. I want to be a student there. I want to get this degree in 36 months. What was it, 37?
2 years and 8 months.
2 years, 8 months.
32 months straight.
Yeah. And, no debt. Sign me up.
Yeah.
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 It's a win-win.
Yeah. I I know there's always a saying that, hey, I can make it without a degree. I can become a millionaire without a degree.
Yeah.
And people do. I'm not saying that, but it's still just, I was always told I was the first person in my family out of 7 brothers and sisters to get a degree. And I always had people through my life and tell me that, look, that's the one thing that somebody cannot take away from you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your education, nobody could ever take that from you.
No.
And I sat with a guy yesterday at a CEO of a company. He's a millionaire, and he went as far as 11th grade.
Yeah.
But he owns companies. He's a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
And he's a genius.
Yeah.
He's
got the business degree right there in his head.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying that that's the only route,
Right.
but I think it's, it definitely sets you up for success.
Right.
Right.
Well, it's always important to have that documentation to
Yeah.
show who you are
Yeah.
and that you went those 2 years, 4 years, or whatever, so to this college and put the effort into learning the
Yeah.
trade that you're going to obviously continue to do in business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So 15 kids now. There's space for 10 more. Grab the number there. You have anybody right now? It's vacation time, summer school. perfect time to come over and visit William over at the campus, check it out, and say maybe if you're a junior, maybe next year say, hey,
Absolutely.
I want to go to that. I want to go check it out and talk about business, because Hispanics were entrepreneurs, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
who's cooking your Chinese food? Mexican guy.
Hey, my wife is Spanish.
Yeah, everybody, right?
33 years.
There
My
you go.
kids are Spanish.
There you go.
So
yeah, but it's like, you know, it was funny because I was telling somebody a story. You know Benihana's.
Yeah.
Japanese, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting at Benihana's, getting ready to get my groove on and eat and everything, right? And I'm looking for my cook, right?
Yeah.
Around the corner, you see the big hat and everything, and I'm looking over and I'm like, all right. This Japanese guy pulls up and I'm like, dude, you're not Japanese. And he's like, I'm from El Salvador.
I love that.
Yeah, so a lot of our people, the reason I'm saying that is they learn. That guy is a Salvadorian, learned how to cook Japanese food.
Yeah.
He could go back to his country and cook Japanese food and have the best restaurant in the whole city.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these people, that's what they're doing. You know, they work for certain places, whether it be Italian, whether it be even Mexican food or different types of food, and then they start doing it themselves. And these guys have the mind of entrepreneurs. They want to open up a restaurant themselves, or they want to, they start off. I'm gonna go tomorrow to Mr. Tempo.
No.
Mr. Temple, really successful guy that's opened up a lot of restaurants. He started out as a dishwasher, and he has, I believe, don't quote me, I think he has like 8 to 10 restaurants now that he owns. Wow. Yeah, and he does a networking event the last Thursday of every month at his restaurant in Brea. Oh, and so it's all men, only men.
Yeah.
And then he does one the first Thursday, only women. Mm-hmm. So it's cool. There will be women there and stuff like that. But I mean, it's geared towards us going in and talking to different people.
And then,
the networking. Networking. So you can do it. So in a lot of, like I said, a lot of us, that's what we want to do. We want to, I work for a guy as a bail bondsman. I work for a guy like 10 years, and I'm like, I'm out. I learned my trade. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Never burned the bridge with them. Still friends with them to this day.
Yeah.
But we just learned it and said, hey, we want to take it to the next level. So that's what you're looking to get into business. Start your own business. Hopefully, maybe buy a business or do something. You definitely need to have a business degree.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's definitely a good route.
Yeah.
It's a good way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else you can share with us about the school? I mean, is how big's the campus? Yeah.
If you're familiar with Santa Ana, you're familiar with Calvary Church of Santa Ana.
Yes.
That's where our college is.
Calvary Church.
On that ground.
Okay.
Church has been there since like 1960.
Okay.
The Calvary movement has been around since 1931.
Oh, wow.
So it's a beautiful campus. The quad's beautiful. It's an amazing place. Just come check it out. No, we're not going to hamstring you to say, sign on the dotted line.
Yeah.
You come and take a tour. You have a nice cup of coffee. You meet some great people, and you make a decision, yes or no. We're there.
Yeah.
So
it's a good spot. In location, you're in Santa Ana. Off of what streets? I know
we're on Wellington and Tustin, on the corner of Wellington and Tustin, right next door, across the street from a hospital. There's a big hospital on depending on which way you're coming north.
That's close to 17th Street, isn't it? Yeah. 17th and Tustin.
Yeah, we're a block from 17th Street.
So I think you're like right in front of Blank Agnes.
We are.
Right next. Or
we're
right
across
next
the street from Black Agnes.
Yeah. Okay. I had an idea that's where I was at, because somebody did ask me, "Where's that place?" I go, "It's around 17th and and Tustin." I go, right down the street from my office. But
it's like 3 minutes from here.
Yeah.
I put your thing in the map, and I was like, "How long does it take me to get here?" It said 2 minutes. Like,
you were really
2 minutes,
literally there. I take the little back streets and I cut in through and I go up Tustin. Yeah,
super close.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's great information, William. I really appreciate you coming on. Obviously, we want to reach out to these kids and see if they are interested in coming and checking it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you want to tell us? I mean, we're at 33 minutes. We're about 26 minutes or so. I mean, we got time if you want to talk about anything else. Invite. Do you have any events coming up soon or anything like that you might want to invite them to, or so forth? Whatever you've got going on.
Well, we have a lot of plans for the rest of this season. We got. Again, school starts around August 26th.
Okay.
So if you plan on enrolling for this coming August, the idea is to get that application in right away.
Okay.
So if you can apply over the next couple of weeks, set up an appointment for a tour, because there's a process. You have to do the application. You have to, get your transcripts from high school. You have to come in for a campus tour. You have to The admissions board has to vote whether or not you become a student or not.
Oh, okay.
So but if you start the process now, we can get you through everything within about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So the sooner the better.
All right. And it's open, you said, even for adults, if some adult wanted to come in.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be kids. It can be an adult.
No. We have a couple of 30-something-year-olds in our class right now. We have the youngest is 17. And our Rialto campus, there was someone in their 50s.
Really?
Going to school. So
I'm gonna break that record. I'm 53.
Yeah. And I already said in my life, I'm a lifelong learner. So I'll be a guy with a backpack.
Yeah.
In my 60s and my 70s, I'll be walking around the college campus.
Yeah. There you go.
I love it.
Yeah. So even adults can come in. They just gotta have their transcripts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just apply first. It's free to fill an application. Yeah. Most colleges charge between $50 and $80. It's absolutely free to apply.
Okay.
So get that application in first, and then we go from there. We'll call you and get something set up and get you going.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, the number's scrolling there at the bottom. Reach out to Mr. Deed if there's any interest. Anybody you guys know. I'm going to do a little bit in Spanish. So esta es una escuela de negocios que las personas, estudiantes o adultos que estén interesados, que sus hijos o las personas quieran venir a esta escuela, que es de un degree de que sea básicamente un doctorado, de que sea de negocios, que usted pueda empezar su negocio. Es importante. So, aquí están en Santana, sobre la 17 y Tustin. Está abierto ahorita con aproximadamente 10 espacios. Si quieren su hijo que venga a ver, conocer al Señor para que lo venga y vea lo que está pasando allí, le dé una introducción. Por favor, aquí está el teléfono, ya déselo a sus hijos para que ellos les interesan entrar en el negocio, hacer algo de negocio. Si es algo importante para ustedes, que sus hijos puedan llegar a hacer pues tener algo de colegio, pues obviamente es importante. So, algo cortito. Si tienen preguntas, me pueden llamar a mí para conectarlos con el Señor. Pero aquí está en Santana, sobre la Tustin y la 17. You understood all that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and check out today, but keep safe out there, guys. I know there's a lot of stuff still going on. By the way, I'm going to do a little plug. I want to send a shout out to my 21 volunteers that we've got going on my Facebook page, that we are now been 2 weeks that we're out delivering, helping people, families that are afraid, scared to go to the grocery store. I have 21 volunteers, all women. Actually, there's a guy and me. Yeah. And they go to their houses, pick up the little list, and they go shopping. They come back. They go, here you go. Here's your groceries. Yeah. And I spent $80. They get $80. We ask for nothing.
Women always step
up,
don't they?
Oh, man. This was me and two girls talking, and what can we do? What can we do, Luis? And I'm like, what do we do this? And they're like, okay, I'll call my friend. Boom, boom. Next thing I know, 15, 16, 17, 21. I got 21 volunteers.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everybody out there, mostly business owners, mostly entrepreneurs, people in the community. And, Sunday was kind of slow for some reason. They're like, hey, I didn't get any calls. And I know one day, one of our girls went to 3 different spots. My daughter lives up in downtown LA. She did a couple out in LA, Costa Mesa. We got people in Costa Mesa, Santa Ana, Tustin, Mission Viejo, Long Beach, downtown Santa Ana. I got one in Glendale now. Wow. Yes. And we've gotten calls from Moreno Valley and Huntington Park. And I'm like, I don't go out there. It's too far. So, but we're trying to do what we can, help these people out.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
Yeah, there's some strong workers there, people that keep this nation going, and we want to help them out the best we can, and do a little bit to help them out. Little things that we can do to help them out. Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming in, Will. Yeah. And William, Bill, Will, what do you go by?
Some people call me Bill, William, and Willie.
So Willie, okay.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. So I met him. I call him William Deed.
There you go.
William Deed. That's what I call him. I remember that. Perfect. So, all right, guys.
Thank you.
So we'll be here next week. Don't have a guest yet. We'll figure it out. We're going to see who we can have here. I was talking to Carlos. Carlos might come on and talk to us about, he's a former guy that we used to do the show together. We'll talk a little bit of what's going on. And just let us know how we can help you grow your business here at OC Biz. OC Biz Live, 7 o'clock every Wednesday from Santa Ana, California. I'm out. I'll see you guys next week. Let me disconnect.
All right.
We went 29 minutes. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's perfect.
sometimes people like